It is Saturday afternoon and kind of hot out, but we're gonna build a few little pieces. This is just kind of a little afternoon that I'm gonna take care of some little odds and ends. I've got pieces I've got the blanks cut out for and a few little things. I'm gonna go ahead and build the rod covers for the Flaperon rods. Fits inside the fuselage back in the baggage area. And I cut the blanks quite a while ago. I'm going to peel the plastic off of them and go ahead and trim them back and bend them up, and we'll see what we can do. Been hot around here, so I've kind of been dinking with little projects. I've got a swamp cooler that I've drug out on a stand for the last few years and set in front of my door so it blows cool air inside when I'm doing it. One of my little projects in the very near future is going to be to build a stand for underneath that's actually on wheels so I can roll it around. It's big and cumbersome. It's the window mounted. Anyway, it keeps it cool in here to where we can actually do some work. So you may hear that background noise in there. So if it is, why, too bad. I'm cool. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and build the Flaperon, the Flaperon rod covers. And they're 7C6-6. There's two of them, a left and a right. So they're going to be mirror images. Once this plastic's been on for a while, it tends to crinkle up, and these were probably cut, a year or two ago. I don't know. So I'll just get it out of the way. And I've reached the point on most of this stuff to where I'm not really worried about damaging the plastic. Or damaging the aluminum. We're getting close enough on parts that I previously cut out and everything that, for the most part, I'm either being pretty careful with them and we've got them straightened around and in primer, or else they're going right onto the fuselage or on the wings now. So I don't have too much stuff that's actually just sitting around in pieces waiting to be formed up and finished. These rod covers are 16 thousandths. 550 is overall length, and well, developed length is 320, but they've got some goofy little angles on them. And I didn't make a template up of these. I think they're going to be pretty close to matching. I checked the dimensions in the back of the fuselage, and it looks like they should line up real well. These fit in, and then top and bottom they've got L angle on the front edge and the side edge of them, and that's what supports them. And it also intersects with part of the structure on the fuselage, so they're well supported. And simple little piece, they get cut, and then a 90 degree bend on them. So get a longer tape or a longer ruler. Okay, the inboard bend is going to be 95. Top and bottom. And I actually think I'll mark them out at the same time. That way I can differentiate between left and right a little bit easier, maybe. I'll mark them both out, but I'll only cut and form one of them at a time. That way if I do mess up, I've only messed up one piece, rather than both of them. Now, the way I interpret this gets trimmed off from this mark. But I interpret these plans, it looks like from our 30 or from our 25 down here, it does not go clear to the corner of the blank. It just goes to our corner right here. So we're going to trim these back to our 110. So this is scrap. And this is scrap, as well as this and this. And then let's verify that number. 10, 25, okay. From there, we're going to go up to our upper point there. And that should be scrap. So there'll be our blank. We'll trim both those edges. There's our first blank. We'll smooth the edges of that up just a little bit and take it over to the brake and break it. Yeah, or do our bend line real quick. Okay, we'll take this over to the bending brake and bend it up real quick. Oh, it looks pretty good. Let's take it out and fit it on the airplane. All right. Well, we are just a little bit long, it looks like. It didn't want to fit up in there. So I'm glad I checked before I moved the camera out. So we're going to take off about 10 right there, I think. Should be very close to where we want to be. So let's see what we can do with that. Actually, I'm going to take off 5 rather than 10. And see, I think that'll probably still be a little bit too tight, but let's try it. I've actually got quite a few little shop projects coming up that are I'm gonna go ahead and video. They'll be like that swamp cooler. We're gonna do some new shop cabinets, I think, and it's mainly stuff to just be a little bit better organized because I've got quite the mess. I've got some tools I need to build stands for, and just quite a few little projects to make this a little bit more pleasant place to work and a little more convenient to work in. It's quite the little disaster area, and the last year or so there's been enough other stuff going on that I basically just stacked stuff in. So we're going to try and organize that a little bit and come up with things that maybe will help me be more efficient and allow me to do a little more stuff in here than what I'm doing now. So we'll keep your eyes out for that. It may be something you enjoy. It may be nothing that anybody wants to see except me. So, but I think we'll do a little bit on it and see how we come out. So anyway, now let's go out and try this again. I think they look pretty good right now. I'm going to go ahead and finish trimming and get the L angle put on them. And what I'm going to do for right now is I'm going to mount them on the Flaperon covers. Go ahead and get my L angle in place. It gets L angle along the bottom, along the top, and down the front. And this attaches to the fuselage structure. So I'm going to go ahead and mount L angle to the places that it goes on here. Go ahead and I may rivet them in place, but I'll at least cleco them in place so we know where they go and everything's in position. But I'm not going to drill them into the fuselage until I actually get the Flaperon rods mounted in there and make sure we've got clearance for everything. Because I don't so much mind spending the time building these, but I'm not going to punch extra holes in the fuselage and then have it not be right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this part of it done, and then I'll mount the Flaperons when I get to that point. And after they're in position where they're going to go, and I've tested all that way, then I can go ahead and rivet these in place and have them be done. So anyway, that's the way they look. I've had them in the fuselage. They look like that's where they want to be. I'm going to go ahead and smooth up the edges here and then cut some L angle, attach it to it. Alright, well here's a little picture of the left side flap rod cover. It's just set in place here. The L angles are clecoed on there. I still have to deburr everything, and this is how I can prime it and rivet that part. But this is the way it will set in there. I'll tweak that a little bit to get it in place. Ended up and trimmed it quite a bit here so it angled on in. All in all, I really like the fit of it. I'll go ahead and get this section riveted together and set it back in place to look at it, but I think I kind of like it. Alright, well, we've got everything situated. We've got it deburred, primed, and ready to cleco and rivet together. So we'll go ahead and get a few clecos in here, make sure we get everything situated in place right, and then we'll go ahead and rivet this section up. We have our left side Flaperon rod cover clecoed together, or been deburred, primed, and ready to rivet up. So we'll rivet this up, which for me is always a lot of fun, and then we'll set it in place once it's riveted up and see how it looks. And I was going to get both of these done today, and it doesn't look like I'm going to. I'm kind of running out of energy. I think it's about time to finish this up, clean up a little bit, and jump in the pool. And there we are. One more piece, pretty well done. I'll go ahead and take this out, and we'll just hand hold the camera and give a little shot of this. And that's just about where it's set. So we'll get the other one built and get it set in place and verify everything. And then I think I'll just set these pieces aside. We'll go ahead and get the flaperons installed and get the rods installed and in place. That way I make sure there's no clearance issues. I think we've got lots of room for them to be in there.